It is midnight in Lisbon. Your landlord wants proof of income, your client paid you in dollars, and the transfer you expected has not arrived yet. You probably have enough money. What you do not have is a system that can explain where it is. Welcome to Moving to Portugal Daily, Episode 22. I'm Mateus. Today, we are building that system. Here is my position. Most relocation money stress is not solved by hunting for a perfect bank, app, or exchange rate. It is solved by giving every euro a job, a record, and a review date. Think of it as financial plumbing. The water may be there, but the pipes are disconnected. Income sits in one country, rent leaves from another. Subscriptions use 3 currencies, and your tax reserve exists as a vague number in your head. That is how a manageable life starts feeling strangely fragile. We are going to create 4 flows: income received, obligations, everyday spending, and reserves. Then we will give your records a home, protect your energy, and finish with a 20-minute setup task. One boundary first. This is an organization framework, not personalized tax, banking, immigration, or legal advice. Requirements vary with your nationality, resident status, income type, provider, and the rules currently in force. Check official sources and use a qualified accountant, lawyer, or financial professional when a decision affects your legal or tax position. Start with the landing zone. Income received is where client payments, salary, royalties, or other legitimate income arrive before you decide where the money goes. Then, obligations. That is money reserved for taxes, insurance, professional fees, and commitments you know are coming. Third, everyday spending. Rent, groceries, transport, utilities, and normal life in Portugal. Fourth, reserves, emergency cash, and longer-term runway. These can be separate accounts, labeled spaces, or categories in a system you already use. You do not need 7 apps and 12 virtual wallets. If buying groceries requires a diagram and a password manager, the system may be too sophisticated. Give each flow a name, decide where it lives, and write 1 sentence explaining when money enters and leaves. If you cannot identify the 4 purposes in a minute, that is useful information. No shame. You have found the first repair. Next, create a euro rhythm. Your income may be irregular, but rent, groceries, and electricity are wonderfully uninterested in your client's payment schedule. Choose a weekly or monthly review and make the decisions in the same order. What arrived? What must leave before the next review? What needs to move toward obligations? What can fund daily spending? What remains for reserves? Timing often matters more than optimization. Imagine that 1,100 euros of rent leaves on the 5th, but your largest client normally pays on the 28th. The first problem is not finding a magical exchange rate platform. It is having enough accessible euros before the 5th, so one delayed invoice does not become a crisis. Review the total amount received, transfer fees, provider spreads, timing, and any limits that affect your normal use. Then stop chasing every tiny difference. A calm rhythm is usually worth more than constant platform switching. Measure your real essentials before copying somebody else's reserve target. For illustration, if rent, groceries, transport, utilities, and insurance total 1,700 euros in a normal month, your first reserve conversation starts with 1,700 euros, not an influencer's dramatic 6-month number. Your actual life first. Then choose a buffer you can maintain. Keep everyday liquidity separate from a true emergency reserve, and define what an emergency means before your emotions define it for you. There is another problem that appears later, finding the proof. 3 months from now, you may need a lease, invoice, statement, insurance payment, or evidence of regular transfers. You should not have to reconstruct your life from screenshots. Create 1 secure digital folder with sections that match your reality: income, contracts, housing, banking, insurance, obligations, and statements. Name files so they answer 3 questions. What is it? Who is it from? And when did it happen? A file called Statement Final 2 is not a filing system. A name such as Bank Statement Euro Account March 2026 is much easier to retrieve. Keep accurate originals and clear copies where appropriate. Protect access and do not send sensitive documents casually. Confirm who is requesting information, why it is needed, and how it should be submitted. Clean records do not mean inventing a cleaner story. If income is irregular, document it honestly. Accuracy is the point. This organization also protects the human system. When you know where next month's rent is coming from, you sleep differently. When your records are findable, you enter a conversation with a landlord or a professional more calmly. And when money is not shouting in the background all day, you have more capacity to listen in Portuguese, greet a neighbor, attend a class, or meet someone for coffee without calculating every cent in your head. Financial stress can create a loop. Poor sleep leads to low energy. Low energy leads to skipped meals, skipped grooming, and fewer social plans. Then you avoid people because you do not feel prepared. A weekly money check will not solve every personal problem, but it can remove one persistent source of background noise. Put it next to meal planning, laundry, or your grooming reset. Small daily habits create big lifestyle wins. Even 12 calm minutes can help you communicate clearly and show up looking and feeling more put together. Consider Sophia, a fictional freelance designer who moved to Portugal with enough income to live comfortably. Her monthly income averaged about 4,000 euros. Client payments landed in one foreign account, groceries came from a second account, rent came from a third, and software connected to her work was sometimes charged to a personal card. She was earning enough, but the records told several different stories. When a document request arrived, she delayed replying and paid a rush fee to organize what should have been routine. Her mistake was not having multiple providers. The mistake was having no agreed purpose for each flow and no regular reconciliation. She did not open 5 new accounts. First, she listed recurring payments. Then, she matched each payment to the income supporting it, gathered contracts and statements, and chose one weekly review. After the reset, every payment had a category, every document had a home, and the review took about 12 minutes. Before changing an account or provider, ask 4 questions. What is the total cost of receiving and converting my usual income? How long does a transfer normally take, and what happens if it is delayed? Which records can I download, and how long are they available? What information might be requested to verify identity, residence, or source of funds? Confirm the answers for your own situation. An online comment may be confident. It may also be wrong for you. Here is today's 20-minute exercise. Set a timer. On one page, write every place money enters, every place it leaves, your predictable euro expenses, and the documents you would need to explain your finances. Do not fix everything during the timer. Map first. Then assign each transaction one word: income, obligations, spending, or reserves. If something does not fit, mark it with a question mark. That question mark is your next decision, not a personal failure. After the map, make one small improvement in each flow. Give incoming money a clear landing place. Schedule a reminder or transfer for obligations, using guidance appropriate to your situation. Create a visible euro balance for upcoming spending. Choose a realistic reserve target. Then, schedule the review. Each time, check 3 things: what arrived, what must leave before the next review, and how many days of essential spending your accessible reserve could cover. Keep the review short enough to repeat. Start with 4 labeled flows, 1 secure records folder, and 1 weekly appointment with your finances. Add automation only after you understand the manual process. Automating confusion simply makes confusion move faster. Portugal rewards preparation, but preparation is not the same as building a private financial bureaucracy. So the calm system is simple. Money arrives in a defined place. Obligations are separated before lifestyle spending makes them disappear. Euro expenses are funded on a rhythm instead of handled as emergencies. Records are accurate, secure, and retrievable. Reserves create breathing room, and the whole system gets reviewed regularly. The goal is not perfect finance. It is fewer surprises and better decisions. If you are moving to Portugal, build the foundation before you arrive. If you are already here, do not wait for the next document request to force the issue. Make your money map today, then verify the legal, tax, and banking details that apply to you through current official sources and qualified professionals. The Nomad Life Success course takes this framework further, connecting relocation finance with income proof, habits, communication, appearance optimization, energy management, community building, and long-term lifestyle design. Explore the course through the link in the episode notes. Optimize your life while you relocate. Portugal isn't just a destination, it's your optimized new beginning. That's your daily Portugal blueprint. Start applying one thing this week.